Rumbleverse is finally here, and you may find yourself struggling or just wanting to do better and learn a few tips on how you can beat your enemies even easier. So for this one, we're rounding together everything that we wish we knew earlier on when playing Rumbleverse, so that you guys will have a head start when you jump into the game. And if you do enjoy these kind of videos, definitely show support by clicking like down below. Do subscribe if you want to see more content just like this that's already on the channel and will be coming in the next few days, and put in the comments if you have any extra tips that you would like to share so that we can all learn together as a community. We'll start off with some more basic tips and we'll get more complicated as we go through. And we're going to begin with the goal of the game. Rumbleverse is similar to other BR games in that you will be launching yourself into a big map and choosing where to land. In this one, you can choose where you want to fire yourself so you can get a little more accuracy on your landing spot, and then you can basically control in which direction that you want to aim towards. So you will have a little more control over where you can actually start in Rumbleverse compared to other BR games. The actual goal of the game is of course to be the last solo or duo left standing in the whole lobby. So that means fighting and KOing your enemies until you're the last one left. So pick your fights carefully, or go nuts and chase everyone you see if that's how you have fun. Of course, as a BR game, you must avoid the ring that closes in around you. If you end up outside of it, you get a 10-second countdown that when finished will KO you. So don't stay out of the ring too long, and of course the ring will close in more and more as the match goes on, which will force you to be closer and therefore fight the other players. Next up is knowing your loot. There's a bit to go over in this section, so make sure you pay attention. You're going to be looking for boxes, and there's different types of boxes that will have different tiers of items in them. There's going to be wooden, silver, and gold boxes. Generally, the silver and the gold ones are the ones you want to aim for, but if nothing else is around, definitely get the wooden ones too. An important thing to know about the loot in the game is that you can actually hold onto items for later by picking them up and pressing a corresponding D-pad input to store them there for later. An important tip when at the beginning of a match, especially when dropping in a popular spot with other players around you, is to not use those items immediately, but instead pick them up and store them in your inventory for later use. If you get attacked while using an item, you will drop it and of course take some damage. So instead, by saving them, you can prioritize using them when you're safe and focusing on picking up the best items or damaging other players. In terms of what items are best to store, there are stamina consumable items which are absolutely awesome, especially for fights, so make sure you have at least one of these with you and use it just before you engage in a battle. On top of that, the healing items are extremely important, so you always want to keep 1, 2, or even 3 in your inventory if you find yourself struggling with health. There are 2 different versions of healing items in this game, and they are called the chicken and the big chicken. The big chicken is better though because it can be used 2 times, so definitely look out for those. Outside of this, you need to know about the potion type items. A maximum of 8 of these can be used per match, and they give you a permanent stat bonus within that match. Interestingly, you can actually mix and match these as much as you like between attack, health, or stamina bonuses. The health boosters are extremely useful because by having a few of these, you can actually survive another player's super, which is really good. The attack ones are also great as they just mean you deal more damage, so definitely keep an eye out for those too. Also, keep an eye out for weapon items such as chairs, baseball bats, or the other types that are available in the game. These will be really helpful when attacking someone, but you can also store them in your inventory. However, they don't last forever, so only use them when you feel like they'll give you an advantage. Some of these weapon items can also be charged with Y attacks, such as the baseball bat that can launch your enemies far away. Next up is where to drop. When you start a round, you will of course be launched into the map, but the areas you fight in each different match will actually change, so you can't always go to your favourite spot each time. Some areas are definitely better to drop at than others when it comes to loot. Areas like the top of the big water tower trophy have a large dense area of loot boxes, including the silver and gold ones, but because of this it encourages other players to drop there too. So we recommend looking around and dropping somewhere more quiet without other players at the start, at least while you're learning the game. But after you've got to grips with the controls and you know how to play a bit, then you can go for those hot drop zones and get that good loot early, but of course beware of other players and make use of our previous tip of banking the items rather than using them as soon as you drop. We have to talk about the perks and the magazines next. Within each match, you will earn special perks by gaining combat experience. Once you have enough EXP, you'll receive a random perk. Some are much better than others, but since they're random, you don't need to worry too much about them as a beginner. However, you should worry about magazines. These are basically your skills that you must loot and equip in each match. There are different rarities of these magazines from green to blue to purple. so look out for the higher rarity ones when looting. To use them, you must pick them up, read them, and equip them to one of your bumper inputs. Some of these moves are also chargeable, so make sure to hold down the bumper when using them if you have a chargeable one selected, such as one of our favourites, the Super Sumo Slam. In total, you can use 2 skills at one time, but you can always overwrite one if you find a better one out while looting. We found that the Super Sumo Slam and the Rocket Jump are really good ones, so make sure to keep an eye out for those. Next up is climbing, jump slamming, and run jumps. One really fun and great way to KO players in Rumbleverse is by jumping off of buildings and using an attack mid-air to charge up a powerful slam that gets more powerful the further you drop. So traversing and climbing buildings is an important part of both looting and fighting. You can easily climb and vault with the B button, but do be aware that climbing will use your stamina. Once you're on a building though, you can jump off and attack to slam into other players, but you can also run and then jump to launch yourself even further off of the buildings. So make sure to make use of the running jump with left trigger and A. Next is to learn about your super. The super bar in this game is extremely powerful. It gives you an attack buff so you deal more damage than your enemies, as well as regenerating your health, getting a speed and stamina boost, and access to your super attack. You'll build up this super bar by collecting stars around the map, but also by doing other things like damaging and clashing with an enemy to build it up. When you're in your super state, to use the super move, just use a regular grab with the Y input. This will grab an enemy, launch them high into the air, and then slam them down into the floor, dealing insane damage. And if they haven't boosted their maximum health, it can often one-shot players. And next is how to rank up. Every day you're going to get some challenges to complete that will add to your fame. If you collect enough, you'll actually rank up and you'll get rewards including cosmetic items and upgrades, so make sure to check out those daily challenges before you play so you know what to do in the match to rank up. Put down in the comments if you have any extra tips that you wish to share, and of course click like to support the video. You can subscribe if you want to see more content like this in the future, and the 2 videos on screen now we think you might really enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, then these ones on the screen might just be for you, so you can always give them a click and check them out and then tell us what you think after watching in the comments down below.